Hello everybody, happy Friday. In today's video we're going to be discussing HEX price. We're going to be looking into the moon phases of HEX and see if we can have any correlation there. We're also going to be comparing HEX against many other cryptos and seeing just how it really did over the years. So stay tuned for the video. I hope everyone enjoys. Have a fantastic Friday. And without further ado, of course, like Lardy says, smash the likes. Hiya broskies. What's going on, my friend? Add a bunch of hashtags, yo. Love it, love it, love it. So without further ado, like I was saying, let's take a look at the actual HEX price and see what's happening, folks. All right, so right now, whoops, I gotta flip this back to the candles. So right now we actually got HEX sitting at 5.432 cents. 5432. That's too funny. Should have been easier to say. But let me get this a little closer so you can hear me. All right, that should be better for everyone. But we have the HEX price sitting at 5.432 cents. And again, if we compare what we have going on overall, this is the weekly. Let's bump it up to the daily here. Guys, we are really holding above the 5-cent threshold now at this point in time. Because whenever I see this information right here, and let me just make this a little thicker. Whenever I see this right here, this is bullish in my opinion, because guys, this is us before PulseChain launch. So if you can imagine, we are sitting above the 5-cent threshold, as you can see right here. And what's going to be even crazier is what happens after PulseChain launch, whether it be V3, whether it be testnet V3, and it goes public, and we actually get a chance to play with it, or we just get an announcement of PulseChain coming out soon. Guys, I can imagine that PulseChain is in the very near future. How close, I can't say for sure, but we have gotten the most updates we have had from Richard Heart in quite some time. And for those of y'all who don't know, Richard Heart is the founder of HEX, PulseChain, and PulseX. HEX is now very correlated and tied to the announcement of PulseChain, or lack of. So that's why we're seeing the price kind of fluctuate here. But over the last, really since the beginning of the year, since January 1st, HEX price has really gone nothing but up, because it actually got as low at one point in time as 1.7 cents. And we are already now at 5.432 cents. So guys, that's a good 5x move, or at least a 3x move in my opinion, based on all that information. That's some good stuff. And we actually are making higher highs and higher lows, which just typically means a good bullish indicator if you're looking to try to make any sort of transactions or find out maybe a better time to get into the market. With all that said, we can then look at the overall crypto space right now, and you can see the crypto space itself is pretty bullish. It's got a lot of green today, and this is on the daily chart. We got HEX moving sitting at 8.13% for today. Again, you have a few other ones who have done pretty good, but as I mentioned before, it is awesome seeing HEX show up anywhere on these charts. And this is also coming from other websites that are now listing HEX, such as Kraken, and other websites, even Yahoo Finance listing HEX as well. And guys, Yahoo Finance, in fact, has HEX listed on the front page. So if I pull this up right here, you can actually see, if I go to finance, you can actually see the HEX price sitting at spot number 11. And that is pretty incredible, because again, we are making the top page right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so currently sitting at spot number 11. But without even having to scroll down too far, I still see it in the same realm with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano. And folks, you got to understand, that's what people are looking for whenever they're trying to make a decision into crypto. That's pretty much what, I myself was doing when I first got started in crypto, before I really understood how crypto worked and everything about it. You try to look at these sorts of websites and try to make a decision based on that information. So loving seeing this information right here, loving seeing what's going on, because HEX listing spot number 11 is incredible, folks. Taking a look over here at the GitLab. This is the GitLab information here. And the cool part about the GitLab over here is, in fact, that we have been active dang near every single day. These are the developers of PulseChain. This is a GitLab for PulseChain. If you don't know already, this is where they're developing PulseChain at. So I try to keep an eye and see where at least the activity is for these devs like Brett Paulson, 3 Commas Capital, SJB, Kyle Barr, so on and so forth. And guys, they've been active every single day, Brett Paulson in particular, since January 1st of 2023, which thank you, Brett, for putting in all those hours of work as well to make sure that we have a phenomenal project and phenomenal launch, and it executes just as flawlessly as HEX has done over the last 3 years. 3 Commas Capital sitting here, same thing, February 16th. SJB, last activity yesterday, February 16th. Guys, this is bullish information. True freaking bullish information right here, right in front of our eyes. Like, I absolutely love seeing this information, guys. And I can't describe the feeling, you know, once PulseChain launches, we're really just going to see a whole new wave of things that we have available to us in front of us. We're going to have staking possibilities. We're going to have liquidity providing possibilities. We're going to have yield farming possibilities, and it begins a whole new world that I'm so excited to venture into, and I hope you join me along for the ride. In fact, if you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, you're enjoying this content that is mentioning right now, do me a favor and just click that subscribe button. It helps you out and it helps me out. Make sure that it lets me know that you are appreciating the content of what's going on. And Gabriel says that means bugs are being fixed. Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly what that means, straight up. Like, the more active these developers are over here in GitLab, the more it means that they are truly working on making sure that everything is going to run flawlessly when it does actually launch. So I'm excited, and that's why I check this every single day, and I also do a stream every day. So if you want to come and join, y'all are welcome to come in and join the streams as well. Taking a look over here at the HEX daily stats once it loads. We have yesterday's HEX daily stats closing and giving us a 6.366 payout per T-share in terms of HEX. The T-share rate stayed the same at 25,835. But once again, folks, if you look at this, folks. The T-share rate is going to freaking jump today. And I truly do mean jump when I say this. It's jumping up to 26,459. That's freaking bullish. That is freaking bullish, guys. Look, 26,459. Look at what we were at previously, just to give you a context of what's actually going on as well. We were sitting at 25,835. So we're going to be getting an increase around 700 HEX to get 1 T-share today. That is the difference between staking yesterday and staking today. It now costs 700 more HEX to get the same amount of T-shares. Woo! Keep an eye out. Like, this is like the real moment in time that you really want to be paying attention to. Also, the GWEI and transaction fees, well, it's not reasonably very expensive right now. It's sitting at 43 GWEI. You can most likely get it a little bit cheaper tomorrow. There's no point in staking today because it doesn't tick over until 0000 UTC time, which just means that if you stake today, you are actually going to be paying the higher T-share rate tomorrow. Hope that makes a little bit more sense. Because again, it doesn't actually go into effect until tomorrow. So that is pretty interesting. You can typically wait until the weekend for better transaction fees on the Ethereum network. That's all this gas price is. It's basically you paying the fee to work on the network. It's like paying a toll to drive on a toll road. That's all it is. But yeah, guys, we are getting quite a bit of an increase. We're going to see it jumped up 82 HEX 2 days ago, and it's about to jump up about 700 HEX. Now, guys, we've only seen this a few times where it's actually gone up hundreds in terms of the actual HEX amount that it costs someone to be able to get it. So get ready, because again, this is going to happen more and more frequently, especially now that some of the larger stakes are ending anywhere between now and the next 15 years. So there was at one point in time when HEX was first created where it began 10,000 HEX to get 1 T-share. That's what it was in the very beginning 3 years ago. Again, we know already today that it's sitting close to 25,800 right now. And look at this, it's only had a couple of other days that it's done something similar of about a 700 hex increase. But look at the days that they're happening. These are back before the first year, which makes sense. This is right before big payday happened. You have 911 days into the hex contract where it increased 755.1 hex. You have day 1014, again, September 11th of 2022, where it increased 745 hex. And this is going to be the 5th time it's ever happened where hex is going to increase by more than 600 hex to get 1 T-share. And again, the first one doesn't really even count because that's just it coming to existence, in my opinion. The second one kind of has a reason as well for big payday. So really, this is about the 3rd time we're about to see a 700 hex increase to get 1 T-share. So be sure not to wait too long. And I know a lot of folks are waiting until PulseChain to stake their hex. And I get you. I see where you're coming from. It's going to be cheaper to transact on PulseChain. It's going to be less than pennies to execute a transaction. You can do multiple stakes. I get it. But if you are wanting all of your stakes copied over when PulseChain launches and then you actually have 2 stakes, one on the Ethereum chain, one on the Pulse chain, then I would recommend that you probably look to stake something starting pretty soon, because otherwise it's getting more and more expensive and more costly just to start a stake. It's going to cost you more hex tomorrow than it will today. So just remember that if you are waiting to stake some hex. But keep that in mind, because again, that is some interesting information. Let's read some chat real fast, pull back the chart real quick, throw it over here on the 1 minute, because why not? It's always fun to see it in the 1 minute chart. All right. Oh, that's back on the daily. Let me just click auto. There you go. All right, so I'll pull it up on the 1 minute chart just so y'all can kind of see some price action movement happening. But we're sitting at 5.549 cents. Guys, if you look back, and I'm going to go back and show this as well real quick, but if you go back even just 2 days ago, the price of HEX actually dipped down a little bit, and still we couldn't break the 5 cent threshold. There was a big sell that happened where essentially HEX dropped roughly about 0.04 of a penny in one go, in one transaction, and it still didn't cross the 5 cent threshold, which in my opinion just means that the 5 cent could be a pretty good level of support. And if we keep this up, the sky's the moon for when we hear news about PulseChain, for real, for real. But let's say what's up to everybody real quick in chat. What's going on? We got Lardy in chat, we got Gabriel in chat, Debbie G, hello, Patreon supporter of mine, thank you so much. Big GZ, another Patreon supporter. Bullish is F, yeah, that's fire for sure, folks. Do you think this bug will take a long time to be fixed, or just a minor bug? Well, Gabriel, in my opinion, you know, anytime that there's any sort of issue that you fix, there's always typically another issue that follows. So while they may have already fixed the first one, by fixing the first one, they could have inserted another one or found another one at the same time. So it is tough to say that I think the first one may have already been fixed, but the benefit of it is they actually already have all of the snapshot that they downloaded from the Ethereum fork initially. And so when they fix the bug, they can just resume and not have to worry about wasting any time and just pick back up where it was and where it goes again, which is always really cool information as well. So I don't think it should take too long to answer the question. Big GZ says, what's up, Hexicans and ATX? Hey, now ATX has that T-share bug. Alan, my man, I promise I have always had the T-share bug. The T-share bug has been inside me for a very long time, consuming me for a very long time. And what's funny is we have had so much time to gather more T-shares before the launch of PulseChain that I had it as my goal, you know, a year ago to have a certain amount of T-shares. And because the price of HEX dipped below a certain number in a threshold, I was able to accumulate more HEX, I was able to stake longer, and I actually got my number. So what was funny is when you have a goal, you probably want to make sure to start setting a future goal as well, just because you don't want to get to your goal and say, what do I do now? And I was fortunate enough to just be able to continue to gather more T-shares, because what I find hilarious is every single thing that you have on the Ethereum chain is going to get copied over on the PulseChain, folks. I can't say this enough, and I can't stress it to you enough. Like, everything you do on Ethereum right now is going to get copied. So if you have a stake that ends 2 years from now, well, guess what? You have 2 stakes that end 2 years from now. One on Ethereum and one on PulseChain. That is freaking amazing. So yes, I have had the T-shirt bug for quite some time, Alan. It's funny that you say that. But of course, as always, I think everyone starts getting that T-shirt bug when they start learning about the benefits of HEX. And they're like, oh shit, I get paid daily? Oh shit, I want to get more T-shares. Cash Up Cash, say happy Friday, ATX. Happy Friday to every single one of you beautiful people. Bring fresh cash to Pulse to do your crazy ladders. Lock in your T-shares on ETH now. Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is you know, we're going to have, for those folks who were able to sacrifice for freedom of speech and freedom of movement, PulseChain and PulseX, you're actually going to have the luxury of possibly converting something over from PulseChain, for example. Like, say you sacrifice for PulseChain and it goes and does 500x in the first year, and PulseX is around 200x in the first year. And I'm being conservative when I say these numbers, but again, I'm not a financial advisor. Maybe you can take some of those profits and actually create a whole different ladder without even bringing up fresh cash into the equation. However, if you weren't fortunate enough to be able to sacrifice for PulseChain, PulseX, or any of those projects, then maybe you do start stacking some dry powder to deploy. Maybe you get something like HEX and you hold on to it, because guys, when it copies over, everything is going to be copied. So literally, it's like getting free money handed to you. And I've thought about this before in the past, but it's like basically if you took, we'll say $5,000, if you knew that the PulseChain project was going to be coming out tomorrow, you buy HEX, and again, when you do that, you can then wait until the PulseChain fork happens, the snapshot happens, the fork happens, PulseChain exists, and when that happens, you could technically take that $5,000 back out and put it in your pocket, and essentially it's like free money over on the new network. Now again, that's just a strategy that I don't recommend too many people get carried away with, because it is probably pretty easy to end up screwing yourself. So keep that in mind. Cash Up Cash. Someone say cash? Oh, that shit's funny. Bro, you got the 1 minute chart? Yeah, I put on the 1 minute chart just so that way, you know, it's more entertaining as we just talk about simple things. You can actually see some movement, because if I have it on the daily, all you see is this little ticker going on the side, whereas at least on the 1 minute chart, you have a nice little green candle, red candle action. And yeah, it may freak some people out. They're like, red candle, sell, sell, sell. But this is on the 1 minute chart, and literally it didn't even dip down lower than, you know, 0.001 penny. So yeah, just funny. Good to have the 1 minute chart on every now and again. Alan Fitzma says, Fizzma, I love that. Fizzma. Okay. LOL, Cash Up Cash. Yep. Funkmaster HEX, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's a good amount of HEX and or T-shares? Man, like, as much as you can get. I love that question, bro, because it's like, personally, I feel like I never even have a good amount. And you can imagine for folks who have billions of HEX, they feel the same way, that there's truly like probably not a number that exists. It's like you have a good amount, because they're still staking. They're still trying to get more HEX. They're still trying to get more T-shares. They're staking longer. And in fact, that's something that we're going to be looking at here in just a second. You know what? Might as well just pull it up right now. This is a wallet recently using the HEX alerts that just recently ended up selling. And I'll pull it up just to make it a lot easier for everyone to understand. But this wallet actually just recently ended a stake for 50 million HEX. And I was like, damn, that would be so freaking cool to have 50 million HEX, right? But in their heart of hearts, they want more. They want more t-shirts. They want more everything. And so I'm trying to learn from these folks because they staked for almost 1,100 days on this particular protocol. And what's so cool about this is it went for 1,095 days. They completed it all the way to its fruition. They had it for 8,098 T-shares in this one stake alone. And so I was like, I wonder what else they do. And so I pulled up this particular wallet on go.hex.com, and you can actually look up, you know, some staking information for yourself. I have the ability to look into other wallets through a extension that I use. But with this said, this was the stake that they just ended, right? And I'm over here thinking they literally just ended a stake for 50 million HEX. They had 8,098 T-shares, and I was like, what are they going to do? Well, guess what they did? They restaked that sucker. And granted, yeah, it's only going for what, 8 days, but if you look at some of these transactions that they have, some of these transactions are absolutely wild. This was a 3-day stake from October 16th of 2022 to January, not a 3-day stake, 153-day stake. It was a 3-month stake from October to January. And check out the amount of HEX they were able to accrue. They had almost 758 T-shares, and over that time, they got a 494,000 yield in HEX. That is incredible, right? Like, they literally did a 3-month stake and they got 500,000 HEX almost. And that was worth almost $490,000 at the time they ended the stake. And they're still staking. So this is what I'm bullish on, right? They have stakes that are going all the way out to 2025. They have another one that doesn't end until 2024. They have a few of them that they just recently did, a 30-day stake that they started back in January. So this one's going to be coming up here shortly to be ending. But during this time, they still have almost yielded almost 100,000 HEX. This is some good information. This is what I'm looking for. It was on 17 million HEX, but they are going for more. They literally, not only did they take this 50 million that they had, but they've also ended other stakes a little bit ago, 17 million. And again, they've earned some additional yield during this time, right? So they had 127 million here that they just ended, and they literally restaked it again for almost a week. I'm curious to see how big this number will truly get. Because I use another website called Rugsy to keep track of wallets, just to try to see if they're doing anything crazy with their transactions, anything that I can learn. Because again, like, why would you not want to learn from someone who's already earning so much money? And so this is literally taking 127 million and then they're restaking it again. Granted, they're only doing it for a week, but I don't recommend, if you have a shorter or smaller amount of stakes, that you do something this short. Let me just be crystal clear on that. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice, but goodness gracious, guys, whenever I see this information, it makes me so freaking bullish on HEX, okay? Because this is truly a game changer for a lot of folks. So to answer the question, Funkmaster HEX, as much as you can get. Just tell people not to get T-shares and they'll do the opposite. Pro tip. Guys, don't go buy HEX. Don't get yourself T-shares. Don't earn any trustless yield. Don't learn about true DeFi. Oh shit, that's one way to do it, because technically you are literally saying everything don't do. Yeah, don't go buy it. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not a financial advisor. You do you, boo. Big GZ laughing. Absolutely, Cash Up Cash giving a laugh as well. What's up, Crypto Compassion? Happy to see you in the house. What's up? Yo, yo, yo. ATX Crypto. What's up, fam? What's up, ES Sports? How you doing? How you doing? Love you. Love you, Eric. Love you, Smitty. All right. Anyways, fill your pockets, folks. I don't know if you can say it any other way. Fill your pockets. If you out your... Hold on, let me see. If you put your palm over your face, that's the right amount of HEX of T-shirts. Meaning there's never a right amount, like for real. Bag that big payday, for sure. Love it. 1 to 15 year stake ladders, then fill in months. Yeah, there's definitely different strategies. And you know what I usually will advise anyone who, or I can't advise because I'm not a financial advisor, but what I would do myself if I was in their situation, and what I did myself, is I first got I got into HEX. I did short stakes. I wanted to learn the protocol, wanted to learn the mechanisms, wanted to learn how it all works. So I did one stake for 7 days, one stake for 30 days. I ended the 7-day stake the very next day. I wanted to see what the penalty would be. Granted, this is a very small amount of HEX that I did. It was less than $50, I believe, at the time. I just wanted to see what would happen. I lost basically all that money, but it made sense. It made more sense to never do that again, and it showed me how that works. The 30-day stake, I left it go into its existence and all the way to the end. Granted, this is back when the Ethereum fees were so freaking high that it actually almost didn't make sense to end that stake, because the yield that I made versus the amount of HEX that I staked for wasn't enough to even pay the transaction fees. But I went ahead and did it because I just wanted to learn. This is a learning opportunity, and guys, do yourself a favor and like test out, you know what I mean? Learn the system, learn the mechanics, learn how it works. How are you going to win? You have to understand how it works in the first place. If you don't understand how it works, then how are you going to win? But then once I did those 2 stakes and those 2 test stakes were done, I sent my very first stake all the way out to 15 years. I did a massive amount. I sent it out to 15 years. I said, if I'm willing to commit to something for 401k, or if I'm willing to do something for IRA, or if I'm willing to wait for Social Security and I'm in my 20s, 30s, then why would I not want to do a 15-year stake? Because those are garbage in my opinion. I believe so much more in HEX. So I sent it out to 15 years, and guess what? I then backtracked and filled in everything else in between, and then came out with my own staking ladder possible strategy that pays me quarterly for the next 15 years. And we're going to discuss that in a future video as well. But absolutely a great time to end up getting into HEX and get it done. So yeah, bullseye 100. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, that is how you're supposed to do it, for sure, for sure. And again, I can't personally tell you what to do, but that's kind of what is probably going to benefit you the most, especially if you go off of what these bigger wallets are doing. They're holding their stakes all the way to completion. So if they stake for a day, look at this. This is a test stake in my opinion. It was literally 100 HEX right here. It was day 77 in HEX's existence. So February 16th, 2020, they did a 1-day stake and they left it for 1 day. Granted, they didn't get much on it. They got 0.38 or 3.8 HEX or 0.038 HEX, less than even 1 HEX. But this is what I'm referring to. They are testing out the waters. They have to understand. And then after that one, they kicked that sucker all the way out. They did a 50 million HEX stake, and then they did another 50 million HEX stake. So that is how you can learn, not only from myself, but from what others have shown you what's possible in the past. And then what's crazy is you start seeing these numbers where it ends up turning, you know, something like $1,000 into millions of dollars. And this is what I went to in my video yesterday, where I had a how to become a crypto millionaire. And so you can check that video out as well. But this is where I learned from, guys. I learned from other whales who have already been in my position before, who have been in a position that I would like to be in one day. And then I implement my own strategy and come up with my own thesis of staking, of how it works and how it makes sense to me, what's possible for my schedule, what's possible for my life, what I'm okay with making sure I put away for future me, and then what I'm trying to make sure that I have available to present me as well, to give myself a present. So anyways, funny. So let's check out the moon phase of HEX, okay? So lately, the moon phases of HEX has been kind of one of those things where typically on days, whoops, it's on percentage right now. Go back into log. Cool. So typically on the moon phase, it gives a pretty good indicator based on kind of like what's going on. So I'm just going to kind of go back and we're just going to look at the moon phase and see if it makes any sense for any of this to show up, okay? So based on what I'm seeing here, and just so you know, the white is now full moon, or the bright one is now full moon. This darker one is new moon. When you type in moon phases in trading view, it ends up swapping these, so yours may look different than mine if you end up doing it yourself. But I was just trying to see if there was any correlation to a full moon, because what's said is typically you get a bullish momentum and a bullish pattern whenever you are about to enter into a new moon, and then you have a bearish momentum when you enter into a full moon. So I was trying to see if there's any, you know, any pattern that I can see emerging from this myself to maybe apply it to some other items that I may want to do in the future as well, right? And so whenever I end up looking at this type of information, I literally see it was kind of the opposite, right? So the full moon ended up being pretty bullish for HEX. The new moon somehow went bearish. Now, granted, HEX is so correlated to PulseChain now, it's almost funny and comical, because this is the mid-May announcement that never came for PulseChain, and then the HEX price just tanked. So regardless of what the moon was doing, whether it's new or full, I think the HEX price was going to tank on that news. And it went all the way from literally 20 cents in that area all the way down to essentially 2.8 cents within relatively short period of time as well. So we can actually measure that. And it was roughly about 44 days it took for HEX to get from 20 cents down to 2.8 cents. So again, that was just because there was no news of PulseChain. So I don't think the moon phase is something to necessarily pay attention to so much. Yes, it does have some correlation to it, and typically the way it works is it's a 1 to 5 days before and 1 to 5 days after for the energy of the moon to kind of have the effect on the price of HEX or the price of crypto. And so you can see that, you know, a couple days before we were already starting to enter this little bearish phase, and then a couple days after we start getting into this bullish phase. Again, same thing here. We were bullish here for a couple days, and then it kind of went semi-bearish for a couple, and then it went bullish pretty much primarily. We had a full moon here, went bearish again here. So we had a new moon coming up 1 to 5 days before. It started getting bullish again. So it's kind of interesting that there is some interesting things we can kind of draw from this, right? I'm not going to say like this is 100% accurate by any means, but the energy of the moon seems to have some effect somehow, some way. Do I understand it completely? No, of course not. But I'm here sharing this information with you because it's being shown from other people in our community. And I just want to kind of put this into a perspective on charts and what that actually looks like. Because here's a new moon, and we got a nice little bullish action that happened. Full moon here, we had a small little bearish action happen a couple days before the full moon. And then we're about to enter into a new moon here as well. You know, this is probably, let me see. Let me measure this out real quick. From here. So 15 days, it looks like. 16 days. So if we just go from here to, yeah, we're about to enter in this new moon phase right now. And so the idea is that we should see some bullish momentum, which just means better action for price for HEX, because we're already at 5.5 cents. So I'm freaking stoked on that. Now, another thing I actually ended up doing, let me pull this up real quick for you. Where did you stake HEX? On hex.com or Staker app? So first, before I found out about Staker app, I did some of my stakes through hex.com, go.hex.com. And then I found out about Staker app and was like, this is what I've been looking for, because I don't have many other cryptos that I care to hold. So the Staker app made sense for me because it literally shows Ethereum, USDC, and HEX. And I actually was able to implement a staking strategy by using the Staker app. That's actually how I filled in all my ladders to do a quarterly stake ending for the next 15 years. So I have a quarterly stake ending for 15 years, and you can literally do this for 1 year. By doing it for 1 year and doing a stake every single quarter and do a multi-instant stake where you can set it for one transaction and set it for 15 stakes, 1 year a piece apart, then I can pay myself quarterly for 15 years by doing this for 1 year. So Staker app was very useful to make that happen. So big fan of Staker app. And then I was able to also, again, I've talked about this before, but diversification in crypto is something that I think is a common misconception. I don't think it's beneficial to hold on to a lot of crypto. It's just not going to be good for you. So because if one goes up and does a 10x and then the others go down just 50%, you end up with a net loss. So it doesn't make sense to do that because, again, you're just taking on more risk, in my opinion, and you don't really get to reap the rewards, like the stability side. So because, again, crypto is volatile no matter what. So that's just what I would say. But I ended up saying, because I have all these different, or no, I don't have all these different cryptos. Well, guess what? I can actually use Staker app because I don't care to look at other stakes. Now, Staker app 2.0 is coming soon, and you're actually going to be able to have multiple coins on this wallet because it's going to be a multi-chain wallet as well when PulseChain launches. So you're going to be able to hold PulseChain, PulseX, and you're going to hold probably all the other tokens that you're looking for as well. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they have going on. If you are interested in checking out the Staker app, I have a link down in the description below as well. For those folks who are looking for the Staker app, you just type in Staker app and you'll see it in my description. Next up, I wanted to look at HEX and really compare how HEX is done against the rest of the market. And so I thought this was kind of fun, right? Yeah, I love that. Love that. What's up, Hexicans? Yeah, exactly. The wolf. Yeah, the wolf strategy right there. So I wanted to see how HEX is done against basically top performing cryptos, right? And so I went back and you can actually see, you just go back 5 years, or I'll just click all, you know what I mean? For example, HEX has outperformed everything. Like, how freaking awesome is that? Since HEX has existed from the launch over here, again, it was December of 2019, but this goes back to about May in this chart. But HEX has outperformed literally every other crypto. I have Bitcoin on here, Ethereum, Hedron, Shiba, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Zen, which, by the way, comical. I'm going to pull this up for shits and gigs because it is very funny how bad one of these new projects have done. It's literally underperforming everything. Like, it's garbage. And that's Zen. I'll say it right now. It's literally like you could buy any other crypto and have done better. So, even though these are down right now, like these are all like, this is a zero line right here, right? It's right around this line right here for Cardano. Cardano's kind of been flat, but for the most part, it's still done better than the newest shitcoin that's out there. So don't get caught up in the hype, folks. There's only one coin that has technically outperformed HEX in recent times, and that's Litecoin. And really that's, you know, through what it's doing over here. Because if I pull this up, this is on monthly, by the way. If I pull this up on the daily, and again, I know it's all, you know, pretty charts and everything as well, but HEX is still up top. These are all the other tokens and how they've done in most recent days, and HEX is still outperforming all of them. So big fan of this, love seeing this information. It just gives me further truth and proof that I'm choosing the right coins and making the right decisions. Because if I just go back let's go back to the beginning of the year, right? So we're in February right here, going back up. This is around January. Yeah, so right around this time, right? This is January to the beginning of 2023 to now. And look how much HEX has already done, 203%. Whereas the next closest one is Hedron, which is probably, in my opinion, just a link with HEX. You know what I mean? It's another metric. It's another app you can use to benefit and get some free Hedron by staking your HEX. So Hedron has done a 89% increase since the beginning of the year, and all these other ones are around 60, 50, 40, 30. But HEX is still crushing, guys, and I mean crushing the game. So yeah, like for real, for real. Poke it with the stick. Zen might move. Are you dead? You dead, bro? You dead? Oh shit. What's funny is if you actually go back from like Zen's existence and launch, and it'll be the, I just have to keep going back a little bit. Oh, I didn't go back enough. I can't even go back low enough before it actually starts getting just completely out, like all freaking crazy. But again, look at how bad this coin is done. And again, I think, oh, I can't see because I'm blocking it. Shit. Let me move this over to the left side and move scale to left. So again, this is the one who's done the worst, and you can't really see because it's actually in line with this particular one right here. It's done a terrible freaking job. It's down 96% since its launch. It's actually down 99.9% if you actually pull it up like from inception and from launch, because it's just a garbage coin. Like, look at this, down 99.41%. That's garbage, folks. That's bad. You could literally buy, you could mess with any other crypto and do better than that shit coin. So I'll just be as transparent as I can. I am not a fan of how much hate the community of the people who promoted this shitcoin gave to Richard Hart and the HEX ecosystem, and then it goes and does some shit like this and just underperforms everything. You don't get the right to talk. Just shut your trap. You know what I mean? All right, I'm moving on because that upsets me. But the only one who's really comparable to beating HEX so far this year is Litecoin. Litecoin has been around for quite some time, so it's gonna have its ups, it's gonna have its downs. Creation, let me see. Yeah, so Litecoin came out in 2011, so it was one of the ones that basically forked Bitcoin essentially. So it's like Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. It was one of the early altcoins. It's been around for quite some time. It's still, in terms of like the future performance, I don't think gonna have the same benefit as something like HEX could, or any of these typical other coins, you know what I mean? Because the longer something's been around, like for example, you see Bitcoin, where it's gone and done its thing. Oh, Hedron did a massive move over here if you look at this particular metric. But again, if I just go back to all, and I see how HEX has outperformed literally everything, and again, this is HEX right here, our good friend right here, outperforming every single thing since the creation. Hey, big fan. Big fan of this, right? This is what I'm looking for in crypto. This is what I came for. I'm here obviously for making sure that I create generational wealth and find wealth, but also to make sure that I find the right projects. And I think someone mentioned it here in the chat just a moment ago. Anthony Saavedra says, one of only 3 cryptos to ever do a 10,000x. It's actually one of 5 technically, because you got like SafeMoon, Shiba, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and HEX. Those are the ones who have really done a 10,000x, but doing a 10,000x in crypto is obviously not an easy feat to accomplish. And to be one of the 5 you can say have done it is pretty freaking incredible. So love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, man, well said about Phantom's coin. Yeah, for sure. For sure, folks. Yeah, I mean, other than that, that was for the most part kind of the stream that I had today. While I got everyone here, does anyone have any questions for me that you may want me to check out? I'm going to be streaming here for probably about another 20-30 minutes if time fits. If not, I can always hop off in the stream a little early and kind of relax for the afternoon, folks, because again, it's Friday. So hopefully y'all get to have a lot of fun. Call it like it is. Love your shows, big fan, and learned a lot of info. Any collaborations on deck? In fact, I actually do have another collaboration. I'm going to be having Funding Gym come on Sunday. That stream is going to be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, this Sunday, February 19th. So if you want to check that out, you are welcome to be sure to keep your eye open for that one. That is going to be the most recent collaboration I'm going to be providing into my community and our community. If y'all have anyone else that you want to reach out, I've reached out to a few other streamers in our community and outside of our community to see if it's something that they would want to participate in. So feel free to put my name out there. Big GZ was a big help in actually getting Hexray Vision on the stream, and also reaching out to many other folks like Funding Gym and other folks as well. So big shout out to Big GZ, so much love. He is a Patreon as well, so thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. And yeah, overall guys, it's been an absolute blast just through this journey. I think so far today. If I'm not mistaken, we're already up to 730 subscribers, 740 subscribers. And I had a goal to actually be at 700 subscribers by the end of February. And so thank you so much for helping surpass that goal and just smash that into oblivion. We got there about halfway through the month, and I'm thankful for that as well. And this is probably one of the shorter months, so I was actually kind of surprised that it happened as quickly as it did, but also very thankful and gracious of all of you beautiful people who have helped to increase the channel on my end. You know what I mean? It's an absolute blast putting out this content with y'all. And for whatever reason, I can't check out my YouTube studio. Okay, cool. There you go. What do we got? What do we got? Yeah, that's going to be definitely a good one. For those folks who are wanting to come and check that stream out, again, it'll be Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be making a post on that as well, probably tomorrow, to kind of start promoting that and to let the word spread that it's going to be happening. But he's going to be coming on. He's been really awesome in terms of just giving me a shout out to the entire community, not only the community, but the entire Twitter space, you know, saying the good, kind words. So thank you for what you've said so far, Funding Jim, and definitely looking forward to having you on my stream and having him on my stream. It's going to be a blast having that on. If y'all have any questions that you want me to ask him, of course, I come up with some questions on my end as well. But if y'all have something y'all want, just DM me on Twitter, ATX Crypt. You can definitely hit me up there. Maybe Jake. Yeah, so Jake was actually the very first streamer I had. Jake Sharp was the very first streamer that I had on my channel. It's actually by far, I think, still got the most views in terms of my live stream views. You know, because he's a Super Bowl in terms of his bullish momentum and antics of PulseChain and PulseX. So I definitely should be bringing him back on. I think we're waiting for more news of PulseChain, because like I want to be sharing some ideas and spitballing some ideas with everyone. But if y'all again have anyone that, you know, maybe you want me to check out, I'm always happy to go through and check it out. Big GZ says you're welcome. Thank you again, Big GZ. Seriously, much love to you. Yo, why are all your plushies behind you have their mouths open? They're just as excited, fam. Like, they know what's around the corner. And what's around the corner is hundreds, if not thousands of X's. And so they just stay in a constant level of excitement. It's going to be fun, folks. Like, seriously, it's going to be an absolute blast to answer that question. Get RH on your stream, please. Oh, shit. That was just for a good laugh, fam. Like, first of all, I got to get way more subscribers, and I think I got to, you know, grow some boobs and turn into a chick in order to get him on my stream before I have more subscribers. But at this point in time, that's not happening for either one. I'm growing my subscribers, so one of the two is happening. But yeah, in terms of me, getting him on the stream, you know, he doesn't even read messages. You know, for one, I'm just thankful that I have him following me on Twitter. That was like a little accolade when I first started the stream. You know, he only gives the follow to people who are diehard Hexicans, is what he says. And so the fact that I was able to earn that accolade, it's something that I've kind of held as an honor, as a badge of honor, if you will. Nothing crazy with it, but you know, it does make me happy that he at least noticed the channel at one point in time and gave me a little follow and some shout outs. They must be looking at the God Whale wallet. Bro, the God Whale wallet, man. So tomorrow's stream, by the way, folks, I'm actually going to be doing more of a deeper dive into the bigger sacrifices wallet, the bigger sacrifice wallets for PulseChain, the ones that have actually sacrificed Ethereum, because you can get yourself HEX, and HEX is, you know, able to be gotten for cheap and have a lot of it. To sacrifice Ethereum, that's kind of putting your money where your mouth is, because that's basically saying that you have that much faith in this, so you think it's going to, one, perform better than holding on to that coin itself, and two, a lot of these folks who sacrifice Ethereum were actually Genesis wallets for Ethereum. So very curious to see what ends up coming with that, because guys, like it's gonna be pretty crazy. I know PulseChain had made a video about 8 months ago, a year ago, whenever the sacrifice phase was going on, looking into some of the wallets, and I think I want to do something similar as well. I can't wait till she comes back on the channel or just streaming. She has some really good content. She hasn't really posted anything in some time, so I hope she's okay. Also, guys, big shout out. Go show some love to Huddle Dog, man. That dude, I love him to death. He was hilarious. He's put out amazing content for a very long time. He ended up falling in the vet hospital. It was kind of just passed out, you know, hit his head, had a little brain hemorrhage type situation. So for real, like, much love to you, Huddle Dog, and I hope you have a quick recovery. And we definitely look forward to seeing you back on your 2 feet, making videos again and posting the good old HEX content once again. Jake is a dev, right? Yeah, so he's done some development and that kind of stuff, but in terms of like a crypto developer, I don't know if he's in that regard. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to developments in how the actual systems work. So I definitely know that. Yeah, so yeah, no, Jake is a streamer. Yeah, that sounds right. You should have Crypto Sloth on. That would be good. Yeah, let me write that one down. Crypto Sloth is funny. He's got a sense of humor that is I actually quite enjoy. So I recently actually just got put onto his website as well, and his website's actually lookintehedron.com, and I'll show it here real quick. Give a shout out to Crypto Sloth, but this is Crypto Sloth's website right here, lookintehedron.com. If you have any Hedron, or if you have any ICOSA or any of that information right now, you can actually go in here, and it's a lot of great information that you can see. So, you know, big shout out to Crypto Sloth, because again, this is, you know, taking some information to be able to put this stuff together. So I want to give him a shout out, and yeah, having him on the stream would definitely be advantageous. Let me write that down. Crypto Sloth. Might as well write little Jake Sharp again. See if we can get him back. I'm a member of his mastermind when he first got all that set up. So all good there. And let me see here. Oh goodness. All right, so let's pull this up here and kind of wrap it up. Yeah, so yes, he does. Yeah, absolutely. Crypto Sloth is definitely good information there. I mean, he was a dev. Yeah, retired dev. Yeah, that's what I meant. I love it. Didn't know that. I love the conversation happening here. I'm not sure. How lucky are Luna sacrificers? Richard Hart sold that shit fast. Yeah, dude, like, there were so many folks who were saved because of the sacrifice phase, if you ask me, who had shit coins and actually weren't technically able to offer it as sacrifice, and yet he still allowed them to sacrifice. Kind of funny that he still counted it and just made it work instead of making it difficult. I mean, there were some coins in there that were just truly shit. Like, some of them said the market cap was $1 trillion, you know, and that's just not possible. And it was just all these things that were just like true shit coins. And yeah, he still allowed them to sacrifice and gave them some credit, and not really sure, but they're so incredibly lucky to have been able to, not only them, dude, we're incredibly lucky. Like, the amount of money I got to sacrifice because the price was what it was back then, I'm so thankful that the money got locked up, because, like, yeah, I could have had more, and yeah, I could have had some stakes, and yeah, I could have done all this other stuff. But at the same time, I got to sacrifice so much more monetarily, and that's what's being based on for the most part in terms of your points that you're getting. For every $1, it was 10,000 points. So I was actually able to get more points because the price was higher, and actually fortunate that I got to lock that money in. So I think we're all very blessed for the sacrifice, and a lot of folks just don't realize it yet at this point in time. Get better, Huddle Dog. Yeah, for sure. Send our love, sending positive thoughts your way, my friend. Hopefully heal better soon and get better soon and have a quick recovery, man, because I know that's never fun. 777, what's up? Yes, Debbie G, absolutely. Showing some love. Stakes out for Huddle Dog. Absolutely. All you have to do is say Hedron 3 times and he just shows up. I'm assuming you're talking about Crypto Slot. That shit's funny. He just magically appears, just Hedron. Yeah, I don't want to do it a third time. He just shows up. That shit's funny. Absolutely funny. Oh, it still got all the way down to that music, huh? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I had a little thing on the music the other day. I'm going to try to keep the music on a little bit lower level so it's like true background music and, you know, everything like that. Because I went back and watched one of my other videos and the music taste didn't necessarily get what it was and all that good stuff. So I'll get on you. Sloth ya. Absolutely. Awesome. When PulseChain launch? My friend, Crypto Freedom, soon. Soon. Like, if you actually had to, you know, shit, dude, if it's either going to be happening within the next month or it's going to be happening come mid-May, so Richard Hart's prediction can just be true, you know? But I think at this point in time, I've kind of given up, like, trying to guess when it's going to launch. All we can see, yeah, it's going to be 2 more weeks or 4 more weeks or 8 more weeks or whatever it is, right? So I've kind of given up, like, waiting because, like, you know, I had true faith that, here, hold up. All right. So, Jesus, dude, the wife is coming home and just want to make sure we got the pup situation all set up and all good there. So I had like, I was so high on hopium. I was so high on hopium that, like, my buddy was getting married. Yeah, Sports was getting married. And I was like, dude, we're going to be balling out of control at his wedding because, you know, PulseChain's going to launch and we're just going to have X amount of money and just to be able to do whatever the F we want. And, you know, and I think I got my hopes up so high for that it was kind of a funny thing. But long story short, it ended up being just like this much time. And then obviously the community didn't like the fact that the mid-May launch didn't happen. We see it within the HEX price. And so, like, myself, I had to kind of get my mind around, like, okay, if PulseChain takes 2 years to launch, like, are we going to be good? Is it going to be beneficial? And in the grand scheme of things, guys, when you have the potential for something to do 100 to 1,000 to 4,000x within the span of 1 to 4 years, I think it's okay waiting to make sure that it works perfectly and flawlessly, because I'd much rather have something that is going to actually be here for the long haul, and I'm not trying to get into it and get out of it. I don't want to play that game. I'm not about that life. I got out of that action. So yeah, instead we kept stacking more T-shares. We sure did. And dude, like, I got all the T-shares and I continue to get more T-shares. You know what I mean? Some stakes that I have ending, I just kick those suckers out longer because I'm like, why not? I don't need the money right now. Like, let's kick that sucker out for another 15 years. I don't want to cash out when the price of HEX is at 5 cents. I want to wait. You know, I got another stake coming out in 3 months, and we'll take a look at where the price of HEX is then. And at that point in time, if the price of HEX isn't where I need it to be or want it to be, then guess what? I kick it out 15 years. And guess what happens? I get more T-shares. And so the longer it takes, I actually keep getting more T-shares because my stakes keep ending. I kick it out 15 years and I get more T-shares. So whenever the snapshot happens, I'm going to have even more on PulseChain. So I'm grateful and thankful for kind of what's going on with everything. But yeah, in terms of like the PulseChain launch, you know, I've learned to be just patient because I want a great system that's going to be around. I don't want it to go down like Binance. Richard Hart doesn't have the luxury of letting it go down. I kind of hate to say it, it kind of stinks, but like he can't pull like a Binance, and he can't pull all these other ones that constantly are down for repair, or constantly go down for pause withdrawals, or constantly do that, because again, like, people are just scream and shout at the top of their lungs at Richard and anything he does, which is hilarious, because they don't even do the same for these other shit projects, but they will do it for him. So he knows what's coming, he knows what's happening, he knows what's on the table and what's at stake, and he's gonna make it the best for all of us. So guys, it's been an absolute blast. Happy Friday to every single one of you beautiful people. I'm hopping off the stream, gotta go take care of the pups. Have a wonderful time. I'll be back tomorrow, 1:30 Central Standard Time. Talk to you soon. Peace.